The ego tends to equate having with being. I have, therefore I am. And the more I have, the more I am. The ego lives through comparison. How you are seen by others turns into how you see yourself. So I remember when I was young and got my first job, I finally had money to spend and buy things that I wanted because, before that, I really didn't have much, and all the things that I wanted, I never got. So when I got my first job, it was kind of like the first sense of freedom that I had to buy my own things. And so I, really started off with this habit of just mindlessly consuming. It didn't help either that I wanted to kind of be accepted into certain groups. And so I would kind of, go through certain phases in my life where I wanted to fit into this social group or that other social group. And so the things that I'd identify with is what that group did or what that group wore, like whether it was clothes or the type of music or whatever it was, the different types of interests that they had. And so I would mindlessly consume thinking that I would find my sense of self through them in the way that if I would also get accepted by them, then that means that I bought the right thing. Even though I know that sounds really silly, but I guess that's just how the ego works. And so I just over time consumed, just mindlessly bought things to the point that I had so many things, it became so overwhelming. I am the type of person that really prefers minimalism because having too many things really does overwhelm me. I find it too distracting and it just feels like too much clutter. And so I didn't realize it at the time, but that's what it was for me, that over time, the accumulation of things just was overwhelming. And so after that, luckily, I kind of grew out of those stages and started to consume less and to be really picky about what I bought because too, it's not like I made a lot of money. I was just a student working. And so I had to, pull back and start being very deliberate about the things I would buy. And so over time, it's actually helped me to kind of simplify my life a lot more. I would go through cycles of purging, then over consuming and then purging and all that stuff. And instead of continuing that cycle, I just basically stopped buying things unless I really needed them. And it's actually given me a lot more peace of mind now to kind of live that way because I don't have to consume a whole bunch. And if you really think about it, like we don't really need that much, to live. And so when I kind of got clear on what I really needed to live and kind of the essential things, it was a lot easier to kind of cut back on all the mindless consuming and overspending. And so, I'm able to save more money now because of that and not have to have so many things. And so I really do love living simply. I love having less things. I love just having a bit more mental clarity instead of feeling so cluttered, in my mind, whether it was physical or mentally, like they both interacted with each other so much for me that I really needed to, tone down on having too many things in my place. And so I think another, really good benefit too of like consuming less is that I've really come to appreciate the things I do have. I know it sounds silly, but just the little things in life that make life easier makes me so much more appreciative of it. Because I think maybe when I had so much stuff, it was just like overwhelming. And so I couldn't really it was just more overwhelming and distracting than it didn't give me the space to basically appreciate it as much. And so now I guess, I have a lot more appreciation for the few things I do have, and then when I really do find that I need something, I really am happy to buy it and to really use it for what it's for, And so it's definitely changed my relationship to things now. I definitely don't find myself in the things that I buy anymore. I just buy things because it's useful for me, it makes life easier, and that I like. And so luckily, I'm not so attached to them that I feel like I need to buy it, I need to have everything. I think that working on the attachment issues around that really does help. But also too, there's just so many logical type of benefits with it. Like I've already mentioned, having less clutter, spending less, and just learning to appreciate the things we do have. And I think that's such a great byproduct of living simply, is to appreciate what you do have and to, just focus on other things instead of on materialistic things all the time. At least for me, that's how it's been. I feel like it's definitely helped me appreciate the smaller things in life. So thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you in the next one.